It's live.
All right.
Welcome to the Town Manlius Board meeting. Once again, meeting at the Manlius Village Hall in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Deputy Supervisor Green, please lead it in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are live streaming again, which is our norm. But once again, there is no public attendance, which proves this service of communication now more than ever stresses our ability to reach out to our residents who are unable to attend. At this time, before we start the agenda, I would like to acknowledge the individuals who are not visible to the camera. We have Highway Superintendent Ralph Cushing, Town Manager Ann Oot, Town Clerk Allison Weber, Town Attorney Tim Ferteski, and Chief of Police Mike Kroll. So with that, we can move on.
Oh, and also someone on the phone.
Yes. Oh, and John, yes, John Deere is on the phone. It's as live as he's getting right now. And yeah, Councilor Deere. All right, so with that, we'll begin the item 2, draft minutes of March. Do we have all 3 minutes?
Yes. Yep.
All right, so we would have a motion on each of them individually.
Mr. Supervisor, I would like to approve the minutes of March 11th, which I reviewed with Allison, a couple changes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of March 16th.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And March 18th?
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of March 18th, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And the last Monday will be posted on Monday, March 23rd. Is that
Okay.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So actually, the second set of minutes was for March 17th.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not 16th.
So it's the 16th and then the 17th.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, right. Tuesday,
Oh, right. Sorry, I was on there. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So,
As amended.
Yes.
as amended, right. All right, so item 3, we need approval for abstract number 6.
So, Mr. Supervisor, I would move to approve abstract number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oops, sorry, John. Carried. All right, and we have actually 3 public hearings, which what we will do is we will open them and then we'll adjourn them until April 22nd. Is that correct, Allison?
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do, we'll start with the first special permit on Taft Road Solar, and so we should probably have a motion to open that.
Waive the reading.
And then, yeah.
Waive the reading and then
Waive the
open.
meeting. Okay, then adjourn.
So I'll make a motion, Mr. Supervisor, to open the public hearing for the special permit for the Taft Road Solar Project.
Did you want to waive the reading?
Yeah. So we got to waive the reading first and then open the public
Oh,
hearing.
right.
We're required to read the public notice,
yeah, the notice.
unless waived by the board.
All right, so I make a motion to waive the reading of the
Public notice.
of the public notice. You guys like spoon feeding this to me.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. I know you didn't oppose.
There's a little bit of a delay.
I'm working on that delay, Jan. I'll see what we
Do
do.
you want to move the phone closer to Ed, perhaps?
No, I can hear fine.
You can? Okay.
So now make your motion to open.
So I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the special permit for the Taft Road Solar Project.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. All right, item 5.
Now we have to make a motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
I'm sorry.
We have to make a motion to adjourn the
Adjourn.
public hearing.
Yep.
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing for the special permit for the Taft Road Solar Project until April the 22nd.
Very good. Okay.
Second.
All in You'll get it. I don't have my cheat sheet with me.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the public hearing for the amendment of the local law for solar photovoltaic systems until April the 22nd.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to waive the public hearing on a matter of amending Chapter 139 with regard to stop signs.
Wait, the reading.
Waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And I would like to make a motion to open the public hearing in the matter of amending Chapter 139 with regard to stop signs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carried.
And I would like to make a motion to adjourn the matter of amending Chapter 139 with regard to stop signs to April 22nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So, Mr. Supervisor, the reason we're doing it for April 22nd.
Yes.
First of all, we can't have a public hearing because the public is not authorized to be at this meeting. That's why we're doing the live stream. We're hoping that by April 22nd, the public will at least be able to come to the meeting so that they can speak on those issues that we just adjourned. So that's why we have adjourned them to that day. And I think we'll probably republish them anyway, even though we've adjourned it.
Yeah.
But we'll republish them.
Okay.
And we'll be ready for the public hearings on April 22nd, God willing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be at that place.
Yeah. Thank you for clarification on that, Tim.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I know I was just seconding that it would be nice. It would be really nice if by April 22nd we were able to move forward with, regular town business.
Yes.
Because it was a lot of the stuff I was excited to move forward on. We have a lot of momentum on a lot of different initiatives. It's frustrating and to have to set all of that aside even as we're so critically focusing on other really important things right now.
Yeah. And restricted was, the public, and that's really what makes a difference tonight. So. Okay. Move on to item 7, emergency paid sick leave policy, which expires on March 31st.
Mr. Supervisor, Allison and I looked back at that today.
Yes.
And it actually expires on April 30th.
Oh.
So we don't have to extend it, but clearly if the board has any comments or issues as it relates to how it's going up until now.
No, it's fine. Yeah, as long as it's extended. We thought it was the March date, so it's good that it's...
So I do have one comment on this. It is, if the legislation is actually signed that was apparently passed today, I believe there's some provision in that. So if we could reach out to some human resource advisors when they know what's going on and make sure that we're in compliance with whatever that new law is.
Okay. Yep. You can note that, Ann. Okay, very good. On to correspondence and new business. Rob, do you have anything for us? How are things going on?
No, we're actually, it was an interesting Monday to say the least for the end of March, but the guys did well. Everyone's doing fine. Hopefully everyone stays healthy, and we'll just keep working forward here.
The weather's been somewhat...
Yeah, we've had some summer weather the last couple of days, and hopefully, like I said, we're looking forward to spring so we can get some of these trucks ripped down and start moving forward to lawn cleanup and trying to get some of the things done that we normally do in the spring.
Right.
Looking forward to blacktop season here. So.
Good thing you didn't take the plows out.
No, we usually don't do that until after the 15th of April. So
Okay.
we've been out on Mother's Day before, actually, plowing and stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah, but I'm all set. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
All right. Randy's not here tonight, planning development, but Ann, can we move? Do you have a couple of items there that I know engineering?
Sure. Doug Miller sent us a brief update because he obviously is not here this evening. On the landfill, he says they're working on the annual landfill monitoring report and should have a report ready to submit to New York State DEC shortly.
Right.
The MS4 annual reporting It appears that the MS4 annual report submission date will be pushed back to August 1st, according to Kathy Bertucci at Central New York Regional Planning. Muirfield Drive drainage report.
Yep.
Miller Engineering has a report to review with the town and have actually reviewed the findings with Rob Cushing at the Highway Department. I've scheduled a review of the findings for the board members for last week, but obviously with the current situation, they postponed the review of the document at this time. We will need to meet with the supervisor and selected board members prior to finalizing.
Yeah, so we can do that. There's some people that live right in there, right?
And question about, and what is MS4?
Stormwater.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. You're all about MS4.
Yeah.
Constantly. Okay, all right. Tim, do you have anything for us tonight?
I have nothing.
Okay. Allison? Chief?
I'm also happy to say all of our people are currently healthy and doing well. So far, through the crisis, our call volume has been very low, which is a good thing. And I'm real happy to see that despite a couple glitches, we've had full compliance with the local, county, and state executive orders, which is great. We continue our conversations with the town of DeWitt Police Department in the event that we do start to dramatically lose our workforce. We have a standing long-term agreement with the town of DeWitt on shared services.
Yep.
So that's an option that we could explore and we're beginning to talk about. And we continue to screen people that come into our building. If there's any positive indication that they've had any exposures, they're not allowed in. And we're making provisions for that. And we're probably effective tomorrow, we're going to start screening our own employee at shift changes, just to ensure that they're healthy and safe before they come out into the public arena. Still kind of dabbling with this idea, and I'm kind of really waiting for county health to give us some further guidance, but there's a lot to this exposure and the levels of exposure versus when we would quarantine somebody and not or disallow them to return to work. There's a lot to that. I'm happy to say that our police physician, Dr. Joslin, he's been outstanding with us, and we've been meeting to include this morning on a regular basis, virtually teleconference, and he's been giving us like really great guidance. But I'm waiting for the county health department to finalize that for really all agencies in the county. We're doing well. We had a drug driving incident a couple days ago, and we struggled a little bit with the how are we going to get the blood kind of thing and go to the hospital. So we're working on that, and hopefully we're going to be able to come up with some additional guidance from the district attorney's office on how we're going to proceed with those types of things. And every day there's a new incident that we're exploring and looking at and trying to look at to come up with different ways of doing business, but it's been difficult. And on the last part too is, in addition to the screening and isolation question, is we're starting to work with the Office of Court Administration on possibly moving forward with video arraignments, which would be great. Wow. So those could be done remotely. Right now, the New York State law doesn't allow for that, and we're getting a little bit of pushback on a group called ILS, Indigent Legal Services Group. But we're trying to finalize that and trying to get the governor to agree to waive all those restrictions on video arraignments. So that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, under the circumstances, Chief, I hope that people make an exception.
We hope so too.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
I might add a couple of incidences that the chief has been contacted on where some events as well as some ineligible businesses were trying to perform where they did not qualify to do these things, and the chief had to put a sort of an end to those items. But again, I appreciate I know that's can be tedious, but it's part of the restrictions that were sent down from the governor. So we have to follow those rules. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Chief, have you had you've found most of the businesses are complying?
Yeah.
We're not running into a lot of situations.
No, great majority of our community members are voluntary complying with all of the orders, which is great.
Yep.
Otherwise, it would put us in a really difficult position, which we don't want to be in.
Yep.
So.
Okay, let's start. Sarah, can we start with you? I know you have something you have for us.
Yeah, so as you know, I've been working on the Salt Springs Water Project for a while. We've gotten some additional information from the town of Sullivan, and I think that what I would like to do is put together a very limited request for proposals just for the Salt Springs project. We had discussed at a previous meeting a broader plan regarding planning, but this would be not that. This would be just a very narrow scope on the Salt Springs project, because we haven't been successful at moving to the next step, and I think this would outline exactly what the next steps are and give us a cost that would apply to 2020's budget that would be within our range that we already have, and then hopefully give us a better understanding of what would be needed for 2021 prior to going to do the budget for next year. So what I'd like to do is do something pretty much on a fast track that would happen in April, that we would then bring back a proposal for the board to approve, and then that company would put forth the rest of the project in a way that we could know what our commitments are for 2020 and estimate our 2021 more accurately.
Yeah, I know Sarah and I have talked about this in great detail regarding the proposal here, and I don't know if all of you've had a chance to really look this over, and I'm sure there are some things here that Penny, you've looked at this, and there's anything that pops out to you that you feel that.
No, actually, I thought I think Sarah did a very nice job with the proposal. It's similar to the other proposal that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. It's just more tailored.
Yeah.
So I have no issues with this proposal as it's presented.
Yeah, and I think as Sarah points out, it's more the urgency of budgetary needs in this year, 2020, to sort of get the ball rolling. As you say that, because we still have a ways to go on this, between the two towns and counties for that matter. So I don't have any further questions on this. I understand the need for this time, and if anybody has any other questions.
Specific to the water district.
Yeah.
Yes, just strictly to the water
Specific to the
district.
water, and it would end by 20.
Yeah, it would be just this agreement would be just for this year, and then as part of the project, we would estimate what next year is and make a decision about what we're pursuing for next year.
Right. What direction will go at that time?
Because we actually at this point do not know that we're going to go forward.
Right.
That's the first step we got to get to.
Yeah. We need surveys. We need further meetings.
And if the district is formed, the district would be able to pay for the costs associated with the
Right.
engineering, with the legal, and with everything that predated the formation of the district.
Yeah.
So, but if the district is not formed,
then
not successfully formed,
right.
then the town would be responsible for those costs. Right.
Okay.
So I would like to, with permission, I'll work with council to get the final wording out, and then I would like
Okay.
to release this RFP. Does that have to be a motion?
Yeah, we should make a motion to issue the RFP as presented before the board.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So how does this work with the town of Sullivan? Like, is this with them, or is it just more on this town of Manlius's?
It's
That's what.
Yes.
That's a good question.
So this would be ours.
Just ours. So we're
But
getting
we would want to
information.
know how they are relating to the town of Sullivan.
Right. How it ties into what their costs would
Because I know
be.
we've done a lot. Like, there's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of information done.
Right.
But this is to get us more up to date, because now we're out of date.
Well, I think even before that is really because a lot of work has been done in both towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want to redo that work.
Right.
It's really to coordinate that work.
Okay.
And there's been some things that have changed over the last 3 years.
Yes.
That have, even the survey that we did previous, that's really outdated now.
as we're promoting our summer programming, we should make sure that we're making people aware that this is a very tentative schedule, that it's subject to change.
Yeah, and Peggy did that.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Yeah,
She
she did
also
a great job. Yeah.
explained it, and she,
Yeah.
in her posting, she also mentioned that the signups really for all the programs were going to be delayed. So, and to keep checking back.
Okay.
But we should do
Hopefully
our
we'll get
best.
them all in.
It looks like I won't be doing fast peas with my grandson till the fall now.
So I think that's one of the things we can do in a communication realm. A lot of residents will want to know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And I know that is a high
Yeah,
priority.
you'll work with Peggy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Very good.
And that's all I had
Okay.
tonight. Wish everyone well.
Yes, yes. Heather?
Mr. Supervisor, I have two things to report. One is that the National Arbor Day Foundation let everyone, all the tree cities know, and those municipalities that want to become tree cities know that the metrics that you have to sort of meet in order to keep your status or get status as a tree city are going to be suspended for this year. So that means that we needed to have that event in partnership with Fishstock in order to retain our status, and we were worried about canceling it, not being able to meet that criteria, but we are going to be just fine.
Good.
The second thing is, I am a liaison to assessment, and as you know, we have 2 open spots on our board of assessment, and our deadline is today for applying to be a board member, and we are going to coordinate interviews next week.
Very good.
Of those applicants.
Excellent. Now that you'll be interviewing.
I'll be interviewing along with Anne and Sarah Bollinger.
Okay,
And Uwe
good.
and Sarah Bollinger.
Very good. Okay, excellent. Okay.
John, did you want to do John?
John,
Oh,
do you
John.
have anything?
Yeah, sure. So as I think a lot of you know, I spent a lot of time last week and on Monday down at Town Hall. So
Yeah.
it was a really great opportunity, given the situation, to really see everyone kind of pitch in and get some really interesting work done. I really appreciate the folks at Town Hall giving me, the spot to sit and sit at the table. I really enjoyed it, despite the circumstances. Even just for the folks that, did the right thing and stayed home, thank you for doing that. I just did want to say it was great to see everybody really just focusing on the issue at hand and making a lot of quick decisions that I thought were really good. Also, just a reminder to everybody, if you do not need to be out, please stay home, social distance. Don't forget that just because, you're going to run to the store, that you're not standing next to somebody who's a healthcare worker or a first responder, and by giving them some space and letting them, get what they need to get done in a safe way, we can really do a lot to stay on top of the situation.
Yeah.
So,
Very good, John. Excellent. Thank you. Now, Judy.
Thank you. I had a meeting last Friday, one seemingly normal event in the last week as it relates to town business. But we did do a Zoom call, Randy and I with Caitlin Wright from the land bank.
Right.
And it went very well. She gave us a ton of information on how we might be able to pursue different strategies that would allow us to fix up properties that had fallen into disrepair.
Good.
A lot of the things that she was mentioning were outside of the realm of the things that I understand, but Randy seemed to be following along.
Yeah.
And I hope he was taking notes. I was trying to, but I really didn't understand what she was talking about. It's outside my area of
It's
expertise.
involved, yeah.
But it seems like something that we will definitely want to share with the mayors of our villages, because it is a county-wide initiative, which I wasn't aware of. So I look forward to speaking with her again when we can meet in person and hopefully include the mayors.
Would you be putting maybe a summary together for us, and we can shoot that out to the mayors again?
Yeah, I'll ask Randy to work with me and we can get something together. The other thing I wanted to mention was a lot of us haven't been at the town board or at the town hall. We really tried to keep our distance and not overwhelm everyone by trying to be too helpful. And we very much appreciated John here keeping us in the loop. He's done a great job of just keeping us updated so that we don't all have to be flocking to town hall. And we've been getting great updates from Allison and Ann. So thank you all so much, because we really truly have felt, at least I personally have felt, I'll speak for myself, that certainly felt looped in. So I thank you so much for keeping everything going so well, and for keeping me updated.
Okay.
And thank you, John, for all of your hard work.
Yes.
Here.
Elaine?
I don't have anything. I'm just doing my part by staying home besides this meeting. So.
I'll mention the census too. I don't know, just a plug also as it relates to comprehensive planning, which I guess we'll need an update about how we might proceed. We had one timeline in mind, so we can think about that for the next meeting. I'll come with an update. But what is relevant, of course, to comprehensive planning is the census data that we get. So everyone should have received their envelopes by now at home. Please fill out your census forms.
Oh yeah, I already did.
Thank you for reminding me, Heather. I have had, my brain fog has been real, so I will do that today.
All right. The only thing I have, and I'd like to sort of dovetail off what John was saying and everyone in general regarding these times that we're going through that we can all agree are challenging, and all of us are making the necessary sacrifices and proper limited exposure of this virus by social distancing, washing hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially before eating. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, and then throw the tissue away in the trash. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Limited travel to eligible businesses as required. Once again, and Ann, I think you have one more thing you want to cover tonight or not for the disinfecting of it.
I could report. I did email with Heather today. She had some questions about, the extra sanitizing and cleaning at Town Hall. The service that we have, GDI, who does the normal cleaning at Town Hall Monday, Wednesday, Friday, are going to also provide 2 days a week. It's $25 an hour, so that I think it's well worth it. They will sanitize all the touch surfaces, desks, conference room tables, door handles, stairwell handles, etc. Any touch surfaces. So they have started that already. So I think that's a great.
Thank you.
And I just, again, wanted to wrap it up with this, that once again I would like to thank our Town Hall team, Town Clerk Weber, Town Manager Oot, for the persistent work and dedication to stay on top of the serious issue as it affects us all, not only at Town Hall, but also working with our 3 mayors in a collaborative effort. Our team that I'm always referring to would be our department heads and their staff, our town board, and again, a special recognition to Councilor Deere, working closely with our town clerk and Chief Kroll, and their round-the-clock efforts that you're putting in, and of course, our town attorney, Tim Fruteschi, in guiding us through all of the legal processes we have put in place since this all began. Lastly, now, I would like to add to this team the town residents. They have taken on the responsible role in following the above-mentioned rules established by the state, county, and our town. Thank you all. Much appreciated. Allison.
Tim had some additional guidance.
Oh, more guidance from Tim.
He just wanted us to announce to the public, just to talk a little bit about what was going on at Town Hall. We have closed down to the public, and we are doing, I guess what you could consider essential business only. So, for instance, we'll get phone calls for marriage licenses, for weddings that are taking place in June. We're just, especially that time period hasn't even come yet, so just kind of let's wait and see what happens. We're keeping a folder of all of the business that we need to do as soon as we're allowed to get back up and running. We just ask that everyone call first, and we can decide whether or not that is a critical thing to do in that moment. So there's lots of information on our website, on our Facebook page. If you drove to Town Hall, you'd see notifications on the door as well.
I think we've done an excellent job notifying the public in many different ways, and liking and sharing on Facebook.
And that actually goes for the highway department too. It is locked down basically to the public at this point
the operation of town hall is still going on.
Yes.
Even though the public has been asked not to come into the building for obvious reasons. There's a skeleton staff there.
Yeah, and the phone rings a lot.
Yeah.
So
I answered it tonight.
We got 3, you know, today we had 3 different dog issues that came up. So those types of things are still going on.
Yeah.
And Lauren has the taxes.
Yeah, so we're just trying to make sure that, you know, we can be there for our residents as much as possible without being unsafe.
Well, and that's the point, we are still collecting taxes through 30 days.
Correct.
Correct, yep. Anything else, anyone? If not,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? John? Opposed? Carried. Very good. Thank you, everybody.